Improving employee engagement to boost the bottom line. We often hear our clients say that their employees just don't care. When we talk with the same company's employees, they say that the company does not care. In the end, the results are poor morale, employee turnover, low levels of employee productivity, and engagement. These same disengaged employees have higher levels of absences and can negatively influence their coworkers. Ultimately, these things lead to a loss of customers and a declining bottom line. We know from our many years of working in and with a variety of industries that there are some common findings among employees who are not engaged. These include unclear roles, policies that are fuzzy and not consistently applied, a lack of a clearly outlined plan, and supervisors and managers who have not been given the skills to lead their teams. The Gallup organization has added to its body of research as it relates to organizational excellence and management success with research related to individual well-being, leading the way with research by Harter and Agrawal. They have defined 5 areas of well-being. They describe them as currency of a life that matters. They do not include every nuance of what's important in life, but they do represent 5 broad categories that are essential to most people. The first element is about how you occupy your time or simply liking what you do every day, your career well-being. The second element is about having strong relationships and love in your life, your social well-being. The third element is about effectively managing your economic life, your financial well-being. The fourth element is about having good health and enough energy to get things done on a daily basis, your physical well-being. And finally, the fifth element is about the sense of engagement you have with the areas where you live, your community well-being. In their initial research, they asked people what the best possible future for them would look like. They found that while 66% of people are doing well in at least one of these areas, just 7% are thriving in all 5. When we struggle with any of these domains, it takes a toll on us and on our life. Everything becomes more of a struggle than it needs to be. Why should employers care? What does employees' well-being have to do with the company's performance? Here are some of the facts that Gallup discovered. Employees who are thriving in their overall well-being have 41% lower health-related costs compared with those who are struggling, and 62% lower costs compared to those who are suffering. Overall well-being relates to illness, which is associated with lower employee productivity and missed work. People who have thriving well-being have a 35% lower turnover rate than those who are struggling. These things are particularly important as insurance costs businesses a substantial amount of money, and so do absences, turnover, and low productivity. All those problems can be directly or indirectly associated with low worker well-being. High productivity, worker loyalty, and low healthcare costs also can be associated with high well-being, researcher Agrawal says. Next, Harter and Agrawal found that well-being levels among team members were related. As one team member's well-being went up, others were more likely to do so, and the converse was true as well. When one went down, it could influence others. Supervisors and direct reports appear to have mutual influence on each other's well-being, and this influence increases with time. Those who reported to a supervisor who was thriving were 15% more likely to also be thriving 6 months later. Now that we have additional evidence that your employees' well-being influences things that bring bottom-line improvements to their contribution to your company and also to others in their group with whom they interact on a daily basis, it becomes even more important to find ways to support well-being of all employees at all levels. The first steps can be taken at the organizational level and individually by leaders. Does your organizational leadership know what your employees love about their jobs so they can influence their career well-being? Do they support social well-being by knowing enough about your employees to understand what's important to them? Does your company fairly compensate your employees to support financial well-being and offer opportunities for growth? Do you encourage the physical well-being of all employees? Does your company model behavior of being connected and supporting community well-being? Ask what would be necessary to increase the number of managers and leaders who could answer these questions positively. Second, identify those behaviors, values, and talents of your managers and supervisors that will increase the likelihood that they can thrive in your organization. Then, identify those that will allow them to support others who they work with to thrive. Gallup has demonstrated that this will improve the fiscal viability of all organizations. There are a number of profiles in the market that will allow you to measure your capacities relative to behavioral traits. We have used many of them and have identified and recommend one that is particularly relevant to organizations trying to increase their leadership self-awareness. If you are an organizational leader and are interested in behaviors that will help support your own and your employees' well-being and how you can maximize these traits, please click the link below the movie to take a free copy of the profile that we most often recommend.